Abi, and this is Abi Mack Reads. Thanks for tuning in. I'm excited about the video today, and I'm excited also because as of today I got my first group of 20 subscribers, and that might not seem like a lot to some people, but it's a lot to me because I only expected my very bestest of friends to ever subscribe. So thank you to people who have been sharing my stuff on Twitter and Facebook. It means a lot to me. Let's go on with the video. I know that me stating my mad love for Dan Brown's Professor Landon thrillers will be controversial, but I really don't care. I know some people don't like his books because they claim they're full of bad writing, and some people don't like them because they question religion, mostly Christianity. For the former point, I heavily disagree because I think Dan Brown's books, especially his new one, Origin, is full of really good writing actually. And for the second point, I actually really agree, and I actually think that is what makes it so interesting. Aside from the Da Vinci Code, this is my favourite Dan Brown thriller. And like the Da Vinci Code, this is heavily based in religion. The book starts at a top secret presentation by Edmund Kirsch, Landon's former student, at a modern art museum in Bilbao, Spain. Kirsch promises to answer the age-old questions, where do we come from and where are we going, before explosive events happen that completely turn the night on its head and send Landon off heading to Barcelona on a hunt and a race against time to expose something that could earth-shatteringly change everyone's view on God. The narrative is fast-paced and taut, spanning one night in real time with all the jaw-dropping twists and turns along the way. My only criticisms being that while I really like intelligent stories, Origin sometimes felt like it was showing off and being a bit too clever, kind of bombarding you with so many facts about art and literature and poetry and so on. And it just got a bit too much. And I would sometimes prefer a bit of depth to the characters, but you could argue that the amazing plot does make up for this. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. My next review is for a book I was very excited to read, Ready Player One. At the time of making this video, Ready Player One is just about to hit cinemas. And if you're like me and you like to read a book before you see the film, then this review's for you. This is an excellent sci-fi novel with a dystopian feel. It's set in the year 2044, and real life is depressing. Most of all fossil fuel is gone, a horribly high number living in poverty, crime is at an all-time high, and life is very bleak. But thankfully, there is an escape. Technological genius James Halliday has created the Oasis, which is like a virtual world where you can be anything you want to be and do anything you want to do. You can explore these thousands of planets with your own avatar, which you create and personalize. But Halliday has died without an heir. Now, his vast fortune and control for the whole Oasis has been hidden in this world, which is littered with 80s American pop culture references. The whole world is hooked, especially our teenage protagonist, Wade Watts. Now, he needs the money, but he also is desperate to find this Easter egg before a formidable team known as the Sixers do, because they plan to ruin everything the Oasis stands for. Ready Player One is an exciting race against time, and it grabs you immediately. It's extremely accessible for sci-fi. It explains the Oasis gradually and thoroughly, and there's no room for confusion. The state of this future world, technologically and otherwise, is really plausible and believable. You can fully immerse yourself in this world that seems so real. I love the narrative in this book. It really does feel like Wade Watts has just put pen to paper and poured his heart out and told this story himself. I love the little details like how they play Quidditch at his school. Just when you think this story is set up and ready to go at its own pace, an evil influence comes, spins everything on its head, and changes the dynamic of the whole book. There's even a sweet elements of romance in the tale. I give Ready Player One 4.5 stars out of 5, and I want to give it the full 5 stars, but even though I'm quite a geeky girl, I didn't get all of the 80s American pop culture references. They kind of went over my head. But it is really well written, really exciting, and I really, really, really recommend it. Read it. The last book I'm going to be reviewing today is The Last Tudor by Phillipa Gregory. Now, as long as you don't mind a little historical fact bending, Phillipa Gregory should be your go-to writer for historical fiction. Sadly, The Last Tudor is, as you can guess from the title, the last book she will write in her Tudor series, which depresses me because I have read and loved nearly all of them. This book starts and concentrates on Lady Jane Grey, cousin to the king, who in 1553, when King Edward dies at the age of 15, is forced, and some people may say tricked, onto the throne of England. This part of the book is thrilling and deeply interesting. You can't help but feel the shock and bewilderment of her as she starts this amazing journey that's cut so short. The injustice you will feel when she is executed for not giving up her Protestant beliefs by the Catholic and, at this time, Queen Mary Tudor, aptly nicknamed Bloody Mary. The rest of the book follows Jane's surviving sisters, Catherine and Mary, as they eventually end up in the court of Queen Elizabeth, portrayed as a bitter, ruthless, insecure woman who the sisters learn to tiptoe around and fear. The tension mounts as Elizabeth fails to produce an heir, giving a rightful claim to the throne to her royal cousins, Catherine and Mary, something that makes Elizabeth nearly as weary and apprehensive of these sisters as she is Mary, Queen of Scots. Phillipa Gregory's books are always deeply interesting, and she paints a really vivid picture of 16th century England. Her writing is smooth and her tale is immersive, but I did not enjoy The Last Tudor as much as I did her other books. As both sisters are imprisoned for the Queen's peace of mind, the last third of the book feels as though absolutely nothing really happens. There's very little action, and instead you just rely on young Mary's second-hand gossip about the politics and wrongdoings of what's going on in the court. While these facts are really interesting, you just wish for a little bit more something to happen. Even though I am only giving this book 3 out of 5 stars, I really recommend you read it. I recommend you read all of Phillipa Gregory's books, actually, as her writing is superb. And when it comes to portraying females throughout history, her books are second to none. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I've had a great time. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you could please put a thumbs up down below. And if you are new, please, 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 please subscribe. It will mean a lot to me. If you have any opinions on my reviews, maybe you've read the book yourself or you want to recommend a book for me to review, put it down below, because as I said before, I love talking about books. And for the latest news on this channel, follow me at Abi Mack Reads on Twitter. Or I have a new Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Abi Mack Reads. Bye!